Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Meson African Motives. We are still on O-level mathematics, and in this platform we have another paper one from the question paper of November 2014. That is the paper one that we have. So as you know guys, the instructions, these are the most important that we are supposed to read before we attempt the questions there. All right, so just looking at the questions there, let's see what we have got. Neither mathematical tables nor slide rules nor calculators may be used in this paper. That is, they are not allowed to be part of the paper. So in this case, let us quickly rush through the first question. You're asked to simplify the following fractions, which is 1.5 minus 2/3. So what all you need guys is to just convert this into an improper fraction. And how do you do that? You just multiply this, that is 1.5 in this case. So you just need to multiply, then add. This concept most of us we are used to just multiply then add. So if multiply 2 times 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is going to give us 3/2 minus 2/3. Don't be confused, these two, they are not the same. It's 3/2, 2/3. All right, so all you need is to find the LCM or the LCD of the two given denominators, that is 2 and 3, which is going to give us 6. That is our LCM. So we know that when we have LCM, we have to divide back 6, divide by 2, which is 3. Whatever you get, you multiply here. So it's 3 times 3 minus 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Whatever that you get, you multiply here. So it's going to be 2 times 2. That is going to be 3 and 3, which is 9 minus 4/6. And this will give us 5/6, if you're not mistaken, or subtracting there. But that is just the concept. So that is what you need, guys. All you just need is to make sure that you simplify properly. Okay, 0.45 times 2/9. That is the other question that we are given. 0.45 times 2/9. So all we can do is maybe just write this as a fraction so that it can be easier for us. We can even work with a decimal because you're not given like to give your answer as a decimal or as a fraction. So many ways. If I'm to write this as a fraction, I'm going to take this 45, which is my whole number. In this case, you remember you are working with the whole number. That is the one that you're going to take. Then how many decimal places do we have here? We've got 1, 2, so it's going to be over 100 multiplied by 2/9. So you have to play around the question that you're given, guys, now, because you're under multiplication, where you know that you can reduce these numbers by 9 here, that's 1, by 9 here, that's 5. Okay, 45 divided by 9, guys, this is actually 5 times. Then you can reduce by 2 here, 2 into 10, which is 5, 2 into 0 there, that is a 0. Okay, so we've got 1 and 1. I think that we can do, but here we can reduce by 5, that's 1. 5 into 5, that is 1. 5 into 0, that is a 10. So is there anything that we can reduce? We do not have. So let us just multiply. 1 times 1, that's 1. 10 times 1, which is 10. That is the numerator and the numerator, denominator and denominator on top. All right, so that is what you're going to have, 1/10. And other part, we are given to express this given decimal that we have here to 3 decimal places. Yeah, just express to 3 decimal places. Okay, we just need to count, guys. That's 1, 2, 3. So 6 is going to change this 9, which is going to give us a 10. Then we give 1 into 8 into 7, so it's going to be 8. So it's going to be 0.8 because we have given 1 on the 7, so it's now 8. This 9 is changed into a 0. This 6 has changed into a 0, but we need 3 digits after the comma, so it is going to be 0.80. So this 0 is supposed to be there on your answer. We need 3 digits after the comma, that is decimal places after the comma. So that is what the question was all about. Then on number 2a, we are asked to express 12.5% as a common fraction in its simplest form. Okay, the first thing before we talk about simplest form, just to express a percentage to a fraction, how do you express a percentage, just a percentage back to a common fraction? We know that we divide by 100%, so that's the concept. So in this case, we've got 12.5 percent. So this to be converted to a common fraction, just divide by 100. So you divide by 100%. It's now a common fraction, guys. Like just like that, it's now a common fraction because percentage is removed. We are left with 12,5 over 100. So now forget about the percentage thing to say I was working with a percentage. It's now you and your mathematical skills to simplify this fraction. How are you going to simplify this fraction? All right, what are we going to do in this case? Okay, this is the concept. Let me just say if we are to multiply here, because we are supposed to reduce this fraction, but how can we reduce? Because there's a decimal here. So just because of this decimal that we have, let us just try to remove it. So how many digits do we have after the comma? It's just one digit. So just multiply by 10 over 10. What you have done on the numerator must be done in the denominator. It's like actually 10 over 10, guys. What is 10 over 10? 10 over 10 is 1. So it's like we have just multiplied this number by 1, which means we haven't changed the meaning, or we haven't changed the question. It's just still the same question that we had. Okay, but it just allows us to work it in a simpler way than what it was before. So this is going to give us 125 because we're just moving one comma to the right, over 100 times 10. We're just adding another 0 there, which is now 1000. So we can reduce by 25, because 25 into 125 is going to be 5. Since into 100 it's 4, so which means there's an extra 25 there. 25 into 100, that is 4, into 0, that is a 0 there. You can reduce again by 5, that is 1, by 5 here, that is 8. So that's what you're going to have in this case, given the part that we have as a what, as a common fraction. So what it simply means is that if I am to express this 1 over 8, let's say I have expressed this 1 over 8 as a decimal, okay, 1 over 8, maybe I expressed this as a decimal, it was going to give me something like 8 into 1, that's 0 comma, into 10, that is 1, and we shall have what, a remainder of 2 here. All right, into 20, that is 16, which is 2. That's 20 minus 16, which is a remainder of 4 there. 8 into, which is going to be 5. So you can have this like this. Then if you are to multiply by 100%, we want to see if it is going to come back here. So multiply by 100%, that's 1, 2, which is 12,5%. So as we can see, guys, if we convert this back to a percentage, it gives us 12,5. So that means we are in the right direction there. All right, so that's it, guys. Let us see the other question that we had. In this case, we are given here to find the highest common factor, which is the HCF of 168 and 252. So definitely for you to have the highest common factor, guys, we have to express the given numbers as product of their prime factors. We've got 168 and 252, not 255, but this is 252. So what all we need as a product of its prime factors, start with the smallest prime factor that we have, which is in this case we're talking of 2. 16 divide 2 into 16, that is 8. 2 into 8, that is 4 in this case, which means we're going to have 84. We do again, this is going to give us 42. By 2, this is going to give us 21. 2 is no longer possible for us to use, so we can move on to 3. 3 into 20 into 21, that is 7. Then we have 7 and 7, which is 1. All right, 252. Remember, this is 252. So by 2 is 2 into 2, that is 1. 2 into 5, that is 2, remainder 1. 2 into 6 into 12 there, so sorry, that is 6. Then by 2 into 12, that is 6 into 6, that is 3. Move on to 3. 3 into 6, that is 2. 3 into 3, that is 1. All right, so sorry, so still working with these 3, we can divide again by 3. 3 into this, that's 7, and 7, 1. So that's what you're going to have in this. Express your numbers as product of their prime factors. That's going to be easier. That's what we just have to write here. So let us just put this way the numbers that we have here. This is 168, which is, we just have to write these numbers as they are. Okay, just multiply these numbers as they are, which is 2 by 2 by 2 by 3 by 7. All right, you do the same for 252. These numbers, just multiply them as they are. Those are your prime factors. So it's 2 by 2 by 3 by 3 by 7. So these are the numbers that we had. Now the highest common factor, definitely I talked about this, that is supposed to be the number that is common throughout. So we are talking of these two that is common throughout. We are talking of these two which is common throughout. 2 is no longer common, so which means we cannot refer to this value. Okay, let's have this 3, and 3 is common, so we can also have 3. 3 is no longer common because we do not have it again here, but we have got 7, and 7 is common. So that is your highest common factor. It's supposed to be common throughout. So you have to multiply the numbers, that is 2 and 2, which is 4 times 3, which is 12, then 12 times 7, which is definitely 84. So all you need, guys, is to know your multiplication properly, or you can just do it stage by stage, multiply the numbers, but you're going to have 84 there. All right, having the numbers that we're given on question 3, which is actually a given information of a set. We are given the universal set. Take note, the universal set is of elements of 1 up to 10, and H is a set of prime numbers, K is a set of odd numbers. Okay, so I always say that even you are not asked about this, just list them, because you have got the set K, H, and K. So list these sets so that it can help you to answer the given questions which follows. So remember, these are the sets that are going to be taken from what? From the set that we have got, which is in this universal set. H is a set of prime numbers. Which numbers are we talking about if we are referring to prime numbers? Okay, just previously when we had to find the HCF there, I said we have to find the product of the prime factors of the given numbers, which means those were the prime factors. Those prime factors, those are the prime numbers. Factors, these are numbers. So if we had worked with this, which means we have the idea of these prime numbers to say they're exactly divisible by just 1 and itself, which means we've got in this case 2, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so this is 2, 3, 5, and 7 from the set of 1 up to 10. You are taking this from this set. Okay, then K is a set of odd numbers, and we know that odd numbers, when you divide by 2, you're going to obtain a remainder of 1, which means 1 is an odd number because 2 into 1, that is 0, remainder 1. So 2 is an odd number. 1 is an odd number, and 3 is an odd number. 2 is no longer an odd number because you're going to obtain a remainder of 0 there, and we said we must have a remainder of 1. So we're going to take 3, we take 5, 7, 9. Okay, so these are the numbers that we are going to have. So as we can see, some of the prime numbers are also odd numbers. That's what we have in this case. All right, we also have a 9 in this case. So that's what you're going to have. 9 is part of our odd numbers, because when you divide by 2, 2 into 9, that is 4, remainder 1. So it's an odd number. So the first question was to list the elements of set H, that is on A, and already we have listed the elements of H. So this is actually our item 1, okay, our item A. So you just repeat it, but I've already written it down. Okay, then number of elements in H union K. So you can't know this, you can like H union K without having the set K. That is why I said we have to list down the elements in the set. Okay, so the first thing is to find H union K before we talk of this number of elements, because we are saying how many elements are in this set of H union K. So all you need is to find H union K first, which is the union. You are referring to the combination, combine all the elements together, that is the union. So we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 5, 7, and 9. Remember, when you are combining these elements, you do not repeat. Say we've got 3, we write it again. No, you do not repeat. So therefore, the number of elements in H union K, union K is, this case is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 elements. That is the question. So this N is saying number of elements in, number of how many elements are in that set. How many elements do we have? But if you are asked to just find H union K, you leave your answer like this. So this type of equation is when you're asked to list the elements. This is to list, then this is to find the number of elements. So I think all of these guys, we talked about this, and now we are even used to this language. So I hope it's also so to those who just joined us, because most of these questions we talked about them. So if you're not understanding, make sure that you follow the topics that we did before, so that it can be of benefit to you also. All right, on number 4, we are given a function, guys, that is on 4a. We are given a function of x which is equivalent to 3 minus 4x in this case, and we are being asked to find item 1, f of minus 2. And f of minus 2, it simply means we have to substitute, as we know, guys. F of minus 2, we have to substitute in place of x, we have to replace with minus 2. Where there was x, now there is minus 2, so substitute minus 2. Play your mathematical skills here. Minus and minus, that's a plus. 4 times 2, which is 8. So you can be able to add this to obtain 11. All right. Find x. We are still on finding, but now we want to find x, which means we have to calculate the value of the unknown x. If f of x is 19. Okay. Let's start by the statement that is given by, say, by f of x is equal to 19. If f of x is equal to 19. If f of x is equal to 19, what does this mean? Just this statement alone to say if f of x is equal to 19, what does this actually mean? All right, this is it. We have got our f of x here. Previously, we are given this is our f of x. So they are simply saying this now is equal to this value, because in place of f of x, you are going to substitute your f of x, and this is your f of x, which is 3 minus 4x. This is your f of x. Now it is equated to what? To 19, just like that. So you have formulated an equation where you have to solve for x, just like a normal equation. Forget about functions, guys. This is now a normal equation. So I have to transpose 3 to this side is going to be 19 minus 3, and this is going to give us 16. So definitely I can divide by -4. I can divide by -4 both sides, so that this can give me -4. 16 divided by 4 is a 4, but this time there is a negative, so my answer is going to be -4. So do you see the concept that you are using from this stage is now you and your normal equations. What type of an equation that you have? It's a linear equation, so it's all about transposing. Okay, so it depends with the equation that you're going to formulate. Sometimes it can formulate a quadratic equation where you have to factorize and so forth. Okay, express 15 minutes before midnight as a time in 24-hour notation. Okay, this is before midnight. At midnight, we know this is 0, 0, 0. So before, we have got an hour here, that is before, which is 23. But how many minutes are we talking about? These are 15 minutes, so it's going to be 23, 45 hours. That is a time in 24-hour notation. What if the question was asking us to express this in 12-hour notation, which is not 24-hour? Okay, so maybe they said 12-hour notation. What we're going to write it? You know, this is actually this is the night hour that we have, and this is represented by 11. It says 11:45 p.m. So it's going to be 11:45 p.m. Let's say the question wanted you to express in 12-hour notation. This was going to be your answer, but in 24-hour notation, this is going to be your answer. So this is before. If it is after midnight, 15 minutes after midnight, it's going to be like this. This is after. You are adding 15 minutes after. That is what you have there. But before, you have to subtract. Anyways, we are given a combination of sets that we have on number 5, and we're asked to find the value of v, the value of u, the value of v from that combination. So it's actually like the presentation that you just have to play around. It's like a play around question that you have in this case. So a play around question simply means that you have to work with what you are given and apply the knowledge that you know actually about that typical question. So which knowledge can we apply in this case? So many concepts that we have because we want to calculate the value of u and the value of v, which is this value here and this value here. When I say so many ways to do this question is that I can actually just do this to say this point here v, it corresponds here with -1, it corresponds here with 10. Okay, that is the case. These are corresponding points. So I can simply take this 10, okay, it corresponds with -1, so it's -2 times -1, which is going to be +2. -2 times -1, that is +2, which corresponds with what here? With v. So it means my v is going to be 12. So like what I'm saying, guys, okay, I'm going to come to what you are used to. Okay, I'm going to come there. We move on to this point. We say this point here is going to correspond with this point. Okay, that is the first point, the first point, the first point, or the first value there. All right, so we have got 4 here, -2 times u, which is -2u, which is equal to -18. So you are taking corresponding points, but here don't forget that there's a scalar. So it's -2 times the u, because remember the scalar multiplies everything. So that is why I'm multiplying by -2. So that is the case, guys. We can transpose this to the right hand side. You're going to be left with -2u, which is -18 minus 4, because it was a negative. So it's going to be, it was a positive, so it is going to be a negative, which is going to give us -22. And if I divide by my -2 here, this is going to be 11. So that's what I'm going to have. Okay, now coming back to the one that we are, all of us, like we want to use, where we have to apply the laws of matrices. Okay, subtract here. So I'm going to repeat this, which is 10, 3, 4, and 2, like that. Okay, minus. So we're going to multiply by the scalar 2 times this. 2 is going to multiply every term. So it's 2 and -1, which is -2. Then we've got 2 and -3, which is -6. 2 and u here, which is going to give us 2u. 2 and -5, which is -10. All right, and this is equivalent to, here we do not have a scalar on the right hand side, so we're just going to take this as it is, which is 9 -18 and 12, like this. All right, so this is what you're going to have at the end. And what we just did is we have just multiplied by this scalar, but don't forget there was a sign. So you multiply by 2, not by -2, and you have to combine the two sets on the left hand side, because you have to subtract there, which is going to be 10 minus -2. That's a minus and minus, which is a plus, so it's going to give us 12. 3 minus, take note, guys, this is minus, which is a plus, so 3 plus 6, which is 9. 4 minus 2u, this can't be simplified, so it's just going to be 4 minus 2u in this case. All right, we move on to 2 minus 10 is going to be a plus, so 2 plus 10, which is 12 in this case, is going to be equivalent to v 9 minus 18 and 12, like that. So from the knowledge now that you know about matrices, that to say if two matrices are presented like this, definitely it means corresponding values, they are equal. So by just having this, by default, v is equivalent to 12. As we can see, 9 and 9, they are the same. 12 and 12, they are the same. So it means also this here is equivalent to this here. So we can formulate an equation to say that 4 minus 2u is equivalent to -18. So it's an equation, guys, that you have to formulate, and you can solve just like what we did previously. Transpose this is going to give us -22 by -2 by -2. So I have got my u in this case, which is going to give us +11, just like the previous case. So there are so many ways that you can actually use and work out. Okay, the last part is just to find the determinant of the given matrix, just to find the determinant, guys, of 10, 3, 4, and 2. These are some of the questions that you're not supposed to lose marks, guys. Determinant, I told you, that is the product of the major diagonal minus the product that we are going to have in the minor diagonal. So this is my minor diagonal, this one that I'm indicating now, that's my minor diagonal. So I'm just going to multiply the two. That's my determinant, which is 10 and 2 minus 3 and what? 3 and 4. That's the case, guys. So it's going to give us 20 minus 12, and that's directly 8. As we can see, it's directly 8 there. I don't know if it is direct or it's not direct, but that is directly 8 number. Okay, this one we've done it. Move on to number 6 in this case, where we are given that the product of a number k and 1 and 15 is 105. Find the value of k. Okay, there are two numbers that we multiplied, guys. The product means you're multiplying k times a certain number, which is 15. The k and 15, and obtained 105. So if I multiply these two numbers and obtained 105, therefore what is this value of k? So how can I just simply remove this 15? Because k times 15 is same as writing as 15k is equal to 105. So we can simply divide by what? By 15, guys. That's the case. So what is going to be the value of k? You can try by 5 here, that is 3. By 5 here, that is 2. By 5 here, that is 1. 3 into 3, that is 1. Into 21, that is 7. So 7 over 1, which is 7. So that is going to be the value of k that we had in this case. Then factorize completely. All right, that's a quadratic expression, guys, that you are given to factorize. As we know, according to your syllabus, you'll be given quadratic expressions to factorize, linear expressions, difference of two squares. Those are the typical questions that you must revise according to your syllabus. So how can we factorize this? And this is completely, not partly. So you're supposed to factorize up to the last stage. So remember, guys, when working with a quadratic expression and the coefficient of x squared is not 1, like this part, that when it is 1 you just open two brackets and write x and x. This time is not possible. So we have to apply the longer way of factorization. Multiply the first term and the last term. So 4 times minus 7, that is negative 28x squared. So we have obtained negative 28x squared from the product of the first term and the last term. So what are we going to have from this? All we need is that we have to find the terms that we are going to multiply together to give us minus 28. But if you are to add those terms, they must give us the middle term, which is in this case that's a 12. So which terms are we talking about, guys, that we can multiply to obtain negative 28x squared? But if you add, it's going to give us, so it's a try and error in this case that you have to try and do. But if you are to cross check these numbers, 4 and negative 2, if I multiply these two, I get negative 28. If I add these two, 14 plus minus 2, that is 12. So these are the numbers, but I just have to put x here so that it can maintain the expression that I'm having here, so that I can also even have x squared. So we have got 14x squared plus 14x minus 2x minus 7. So like I said, guys, it's a try and error question where you have to try. This is negative 28. I can try 14 and negative 2, negative 14 and 2. So many. Which are the numbers again? Okay, we've got 4 and 7, negative 7 and 4, or it can be 7 and negative 4. So you try and see which one is going to be that when you add, you are going to obtain this middle term 12. So as you can see, of all those conditions, this is the only condition that when you add, you're going to obtain what? You're going to obtain 12. All right. So now with these that we have replaced here, we have got 4 terms now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we can factorize by grouping our terms into 2. And by grouping, it allows us to factor out what is common here, which is 2x. Divide is going to be 2x plus 14 by 2, that is 7x, and x will cancel. Here what is common is negative 1, so minus 2x divided by negative 1, which is 2x, minus 7 divided by negative 1, which is plus 7. So the two brackets are the same. Now, which is our main priority to have in this case? So we are going to take out this bracket, which is common. Then the remaining, these two are going to formulate, or they are going to give us another bracket, or the second bracket. So that is the concept on factorization, guys, as we know. Let us quickly rush through the question that is on 7. where we are asked to solve the simultaneous equations. So solving simultaneous equations has become a tendency that I have been using. Elimination method, elimination by substitution method. So in this case, I'm going to use another method, because it's like people will be saying this is the only method that we have, or we can just work out that method that you are used to. But in this case, guys, I just want us to try some other methods, okay, so that also it can be easier for us also to work out these questions, because I've been explaining elimination by substitution method, where you have to multiply by 4 here, by 1 here. Okay, this time I'm going to change. I'm going to use substitution method. That's substitution method. And using this method, it's all about, we have got two equations that we have, so we have just need to make from one of the equations, just make it the subject of the formula. So in this case, it's easier for me to make x the subject of the formula from equation 1. So if I am to make x to be the subject of the formula from equation 1, that means if I transpose this 2y here, it is going to be plus 2y. So it's going to be plus 2y minus 2. The 2 here is already negative, or you can write it as minus 2 plus 2y. It's just one and the same thing. So we have made x to be the subject from equation 1. So which means we now have the third equation, which is our equation 3. So using equation 3, I'm going to substitute now, that is our equation 3, into another equation which is not the one that we worked on, but now we are going to substitute into equation 2. Why? Because remember, we made x to be the subject from equation 1. So you're not going to substitute there, because it will neutralize the question. It will give the question back to where it was. So you substitute into another equation, which is in equation 2. So in equation 2, in place of x, we are going to substitute this value now in place of x, because this is your x, which is the subject. So all you need to is to remove this x, but you can't just remove that x. You replace with what is equal to x, and what is equal to x is this. So that means it is going to look like this: 4 times x, this is our x now, which is 2y minus 2. Okay, but that is not all, because after we have substituted this, still there are some terms which were already there. 3y is equal to 19. These ones, they are just going to follow as they are. So we are going to add 3y, the one that was there, which is equal to minus 19, as usual. That's our equation. So just you have to multiply, expand brackets, 4 and 2, which is 8y, 4 and minus 2, which is minus 8, plus 3y, which is equivalent to negative 19. So we can collect like terms, because now we only have y throughout the equation. We no longer have x, so it's 8 and 3, which is 11y. Then we can transpose minus 8 to this side, which is going to be a plus. So it will be minus 19 plus 8, because it was a negative, so it's going to be a plus. And that simply means we have got 19 minus 8, which is 11. Then we are going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is minus 11. This is paper 1, guys. You do not have calculator, remember. So you subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, and you take the sign of the bigger number. Then by then you can just divide by y both sides, which is going to be negative 1. So I have the value of y, which is negative 1. With this value, what am I going to do with it? I have to come back here, because remember, this is substitution method. So all I'm doing is to substitute. I have the value of y, I have to substitute it here, because already x is the subject. Yes, you can substitute back here, or you can substitute back here. It's fine, but here, take note, guys, already x is the subject. So we can just take advantage of that, because we already know that x is equivalent to 2y minus 2. So using that value of y that I'm having, I'm going to substitute it there, which is which value of y that we're talking about. We are referring to this value that we just calculated now, which is a negative 1. So that's going to be that 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2, that is negative 4. So that is your value of x. So just like that, we've got your x. So two possible values that we've calculated, and that is the case. And on number 11, on number 8, actually are given a question on circle geometry. So we have got that in this case actually it's a cyclic quad A, B, C, D, because all the vertices, if you are to cross check this point A, B, C up to D, they are on the circumference of a circle, so it's actually a cyclic quad. Then we have got these chords, they are equal from A to B and from B to C. These two, they are equal. So what it simply means is that these base angles, they are equal. This angle here at C and this angle here at A. This one, take note, this angle at A inside triangle ABC. Note the other piece there is not included. These are the ones which are equal. All right, then the other thing, we know that from O to B, that is a radius, and from O to A, that is another radius. So it means base angles are equal for that particular triangle, which means we are referring to this angle now for this triangle. Now this is blue. I thought I'm gonna find another one. Okay, this is black. Okay, it's fine. I hope you're going to see the difference between these two. Okay, this is what you're talking about. These base angles, they're equal. Anyways, let us answer the question, guys. The first question is to calculate ACB. That is ACB from A to C to B here. So you know that this angle, guys, from this code AB, let me show you. This AB here is producing, or is giving us angle at the center here at O, and we know that angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference. As you can see, AB is producing an angle here. If we are to take this, it gives us an angle here at what? At C. So these two, this C is half of this one, because this at the center is twice this angle at the center is twice. Okay, so for you to find C, definitely you have to divide 80 divide by 2, which is actually 40 degrees. Okay, so that means here at C we have got 40 degrees here, so this is actually 40 degrees. Okay, then ADC, that is AD to C, which means we are referring to this angle here. All right, what can we use? Which concept can we take there to find our ADC? Okay, if we are to cross check ADC, for us to find this ADC, they will say this is a cyclic quad. A, B, C, D is a cyclic quad. Okay, so for us to find this D, if we have got this angle at B, this one, if let's say we've got this whole angle here at B, this one, we can subtract this angle from 180 degrees so that we can have this angle. And it's an advantage for us to find this angle. Why? Because we said these two angles are equal. This angle is 40 here, so which means this angle is also 40 here. So that means it is going to be easier for us to find this angle at B, which is ABC. So to find this angle at B, which is ABC, we are going to subtract from 180, because we know that these are angles in a triangle, which is 40 and 40 from triangle ABC, these two. So it's going to be 180 degrees minus 40 plus 40, which is 80 degrees, and that's definitely 100 degrees. So that means this whole angle here at B is 100 degrees. This whole angle, this one. So if this whole of this angle is 100 degrees, that means to find D, I'm just going to subtract this from 180 degrees, because angles in a triangle, I mean opposite angles of a cyclic quad, this is a cyclic quad, opposite angles of a cyclic quad, they add up to 180 degrees. So this from 180 is going to give us the remainder from 180 degrees, which is going to give us 80. So definitely this angle at D is going to be 80 degrees. All right, so that's 80 degrees in this case. All right, I hope it's clear, guys. OAC, that is OAC. OAC is this piece that is remaining, this small angle here that is remaining. Okay, remember we have got OAB, this one, this whole angle that I indicated before, this one, OAB, this one. Okay, it's part of OAC. So OAC is inside OAB. and we can find this OAB because remember I told you about the radius that these are radii and they are equal. So which means base angles are equal. So which means I can find this base angle. By finding this base angle, I'm also finding this base angle. So if I've got this angle, I can subtract this 40 here, which is CAB from OAB, so that I can remain with OAC, which is this angle here, the one that we want to calculate. So what am I saying, guys? I'm saying that for us to find OAC, all right, this is the concept. We want to calculate OAC. We are going to subtract, okay, OAB, which is the whole angle. This one, OAB, that is the complete angle. So it is going to be angle OAB minus this angle that is of 40 degrees, which is CAB. So we are going to subtract CAB from that. All right, CAB is there because this is actually 40 degrees, which is the one that we calculated before. Okay, remember I said these two angles, they are equal. So from C to A to B, we are going to use the base angles of that triangle. But what about from O to A to B? I'm going to use this concept now to say triangle OAB. This triangle we said is an isosceles triangle. So what I'm going to do is to just use 80 degrees, the angle that we have to find these two angles because they are equal. So from 180, that's 180 minus 80 degrees, which is going to give us 100 degrees. Then we divide by 2 because we say these two angles are equal. So which means this angle is 50 degrees and this angle is 50 degrees. So this angle here at B is 50 degrees and this whole angle here is 50 degrees. So the difference between the two, that is OAC. So our OAC is going to be OAB, which is 50 degrees, minus CAB, which you said already we calculated, which was 40 degrees, and this is going to give us 10 degrees actually from this. So guys, as we can see, these are some of the questions that you're supposed to pay attention to, very much attention, so that you understand actually what is happening there. Okay, anyways, that is what we had. So as you can see, it was actually a play around type of a question where you have to know the properties of the given shape that we have. So you said our OAC, this one ended up being 10 degrees. Okay, so but you were supposed to write your answers there, all right, so that it's going to be easier. Let's see another question, which is on number 9. We are given this type of a question. Actually, I wanted to explain out this one on number 9, where we are given sine theta, which is equivalent to 5/13, and that theta that we are talking about is an interval that is greater than, not greater than or equal to, but it's greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. All right, so this is a typical type of a question which you are supposed to understand how to tackle that question. We are given that this is a range that you are given for the, like an interval that we have. This is actually an interval for the values of theta in between 90 and 180. That is where we are going to have our theta there. So what you're going to do is to represent this in the quadrant. This is the second quadrant from 90 to 180. That is your second quadrant. Remember, from your quadrants, you've got something like this. I just want you to understand this concept because I have explained another method in another video, so that is why I'm wanting to introduce another method again. So remember, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. Okay, this from your Cartesian plane, and this is your 0 here, and this is your 90 here, your 180 here, your 270 here, and we are back to 360 degrees, like that. So we are given that our theta is in between 90 and 180, 90 and in between. So in between 90 and 180, that means you've got something like this. This is how your right angle triangle is going to look like. It is in the second quadrant. This is your first quadrant, your second quadrant, your third quadrant, and your fourth quadrant. All right, so this triangle is going to be in the second quadrant. That is where it is going to be located, where we know that sine theta, the theta that we are talking about is this whole theta, this one that we have like this, and this will be, let's just say alpha, the one that is the acute angle which plays the same role with this theta. This plays the same role with this theta. The only difference is that the issue of being negative and positive. As we know, guys, this line, we are in the negative region, but this is positive. The hypotenuse is always positive. So we are given that sine is 5/13, where we know that sine theta is equivalent opposite over hypotenuse from your soccer tour, and we've got 5/13 in this case. So this is your opposite from this, because I said this alpha same plays the same role as this theta. So you're simply saying sine alpha is opposite, which is 5, and this is your hypotenuse, which is 13. So definitely I need to find the third side so that I can be able to work out the other questions that I am given. So how am I going to use my knowledge of triangles to find this third side? Definitely use Pythagoras theorem, where we know that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, where c squared is the hypotenuse squared, which is 13 squared in this case, which is equivalent to a squared, that is the smaller side, and the other smaller side, that is 5 squared plus b squared. So 13 squared, which is 169, is equal to 25 plus b squared. So transpose this is going to be 169 minus 25, that is 144, is equal to b squared. So to find this b, introduce the square root both sides, so therefore our b is going to be 12. So remember that we are in the negative region this side, so this is a negative 12. If it was here, it was going to be positive 12, but because of the side that you are located, it is going to be a negative 12. So the reason why I am introducing this method is that it is best for you to know, because already it locates the side, the quadrant that your triangle is going to be situated in, and also the knowledge of your Cartesian plane, that you know if this is my x-axis, this is my positive x-axis, and this is my negative x-axis. Once this is there, then you can be able to answer any question that you're given. Cos theta, which is cos theta, we said theta plays the same role as this alpha, so our cos theta, we are simply going to find cos alpha. All right, that is what is going to happen. All right, this is item 1, sorry. So our cos theta, remember, is adjacent over hypotenuse, so you're going to find cos alpha of the angle which is there, which is adjacent here, and this is your hypotenuse. So as you can see already, it's in the negative, so it's going to be negative 12/13. Hypotenuse is always positive. Whether your triangle is in this side like this, hypotenuse is always positive. Okay, hypotenuse is always positive, but if it is like this, it was going to be negative. This one is going to be positive. If your triangle was in the first quadrant like this, this was going to be positive, 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 like that. So in this case, it's negative, positive, so it's negative 12/13. All right, we move on to another item, which is tan theta. Tan theta, we know that this is opposite over hypotenuse, and your opposite in this case, according to this is your opposite, which is 5 over the adjacent, which is negative 12, like that. So negative on top is going to be negative 5/12. So it's another way that we can use, and it's the smartest, the very smartest way that we can use, because it gives us the answer direct. We do not have a condition where we have to say if cos is like this, we have to introduce negative, and so no, this one is direct. But we have got another method. I think I explained those ones. You can watch some of the videos so that you can be able to learn and compare the answers. Okay, state the name of a polygon with rotational order or rotational symmetry order of 3. If it is a polygon, definitely remember that I told you guys, for rotational symmetry, lines of symmetry, if you are given for a polygon, it means the number of sides we actually, it's for a regular polygon, and the number of sides are the number of rotational lines of symmetry. So this one is a triangle that we are talking about, but it's a regular one, which is what? Which is an equilateral triangle. So it's not just a normal triangle that we are talking about, it's actually an equilateral triangle that we have, because we are talking of a triangle whose sides are all equal, so that we can have an order of rotational symmetry of 3, or we can have 3 lines of symmetry. So that one will be an equilateral triangle. That is what you're going to have in this case. Then you're given that there is the density of a certain stone is known to be 2.5 grams per cubic centimeter, and you're asked to calculate the volume in cubic meters. Take note of the units, guys. We are given a density in this case, so let me just put this way. The density in this case is 2.5 grams per cubic centimeter, and we want to calculate the volume in cubic meters of a piece of stone which has got a mass. Okay, we are given to calculate the volume, and this is supposed to be in cubic meters, and we are given a mass of 7.5 kgs like that. So how am I going to play around this so that I can actually be able to calculate the volume which is in cubic meters? So it depends with the conversion that you've taken in the first place. When I'm saying the conversion is that these are grams and these are kgs and these are cubic centimeters. So all you need, guys, is this. Remember, from your MDV there or your MDC there, we've got something like this, MDV, where we have got the volume being equivalent to the mass that we are going to have over the density, or the mass being equal to the density by what? By the volume, the density by the volume. So it must be a condition that if our mass is in a cubic, if our mass is in grams, or your talk of mass here is in grams, our volume should be in cubic centimeters, and our density is going to be in grams per cubic centimeters. So your mass will be in grams. But if you are to use your mass in this case from your MDV there, if you are to use your mass in kgs, that means your volume is going to be in cubic meters for that particular moment, and your density is going to be kg per cubic meter. So these units, they go hand in hand. So this, before we talk of even having our answer in cubic meters, let us ignore this for the moment, because we are given our density as grams per cubic centimeter, which means our answer is supposed to be in cubic centimeters if this mass is in grams, because we said cubic centimeters must correspond with mass in grams. So we have to find the mass in grams. That we know that in a kg we've got 1000 grams, so just multiply by 1000, which is going to give us 7500 grams by moving 3 commas to the right. 1 2 3, that's 1 2 zeros inside the groups, so it's going to be 7500 because it's going to be comma 0. So just focusing this. So we have got our mass of 7500 grams. So what is going to be the volume now? Because everything that we need is there, but this volume that we are going to find, it is not going to be in cubic meters, because we are using mass in grams, density in grams per cubic centimeters. So which means our volume is going to be in cubic centimeters. Then we can do the conversion from cubic centimeters to cubic meters if possible. All right, so we are going to find our volume in cubic centimeters from this, and we said volume, it's mass over density. So if that is the case, that volume is equivalent to mass over density, then we've got a mass of 7500 grams over the density, in this case of 2.5 grams per cubic centimeter. So that's going to be gram and gram will cancel, and we are going to be left with 1 over per, it's 1 over cubic centimeter, which is going to be in cubic centimeter, our answer. So this is going to be give us 2.5 into 7500. It's going to be difficult for us to simplify this, so just multiply by 10 over 10 to remove this decimal, because remember we are paper 1, no calculator, guys. So we are going to just add a 0 there, that's 75000 over 25. So like I said, this answer is now in what? This answer is now in cubic centimeters. All right, so if you divide 25 into 75, that is going to be 3, and this becomes 000 cubic centimeters. So that is our volume, but it's not the actual answer, because as we need our volume in cubic meters. So let us convert. How are we going to convert, guys? We know a relationship that in a cubic meter, how many cubic centimeters do we have? Because we have to convert to cubic centimeters. I don't know this direct. So what am I going to do if I don't know? If you don't know this, come back from the basic. 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters. So to obtain cubic meter like this, you just raise everything to the exponent of 3. That's 1 cube, which is going to be 1. As you know, 1 to the power of a number remains as 1. So it's going to be 1 cubic meter, which is 100 to the exponent of 3. That's 100 times 100 times 100. So as you can see, we've got 2, 4, 6 zeros. That's 1 million cubic centimeters. So if 1 cubic meter is equivalent to 1 million cubic centimeters, what about 3000 cubic centimeters? I do not know this, so I'm just going to divide by 1 million, and my answer is going to be in cubic meters, because remember, that is our major issue, to convert this to cubic meters. So I can do this at this stage, or you could have converted those units before. Depends with what is best for you guys. But that was, I think it's a long, like working a long way, but it's easier because you just follow the steps in an easier way. So if you divide these guys, what are you going to have? That's 3000 over 1 million in this case. So the first thing is to cancel the zeros here, and we just divide 3. If we are dividing by 1000, we simply move 3 commas to the right. That is 1, 2, 3. So these are the groups that you're going to put your 0. So your answer is going to be 0, 0,03. Okay, we put in these groups 1, 2, and there's a 3 there. So it's going to be 0,003 cubic meters as our volume. Remember, this is the volume. So guys, the conversions and so forth. So some of these, like, it's like much of explanation, but some of these, they're not even necessary for when you're answering these questions. It's just like explaining so that we can actually understand, all of us. But when you are actually doing the final thing, you're not even not allowed, not supposed to do that. You're allowed to do it, but sometimes even the space itself does not allow to do that. So definitely you've got no way. Number 11, we are given that there is a time that is t hours that varies inversely as the speed s, which is measured in kilometers per hour. So read the information properly, guys. Your time is supposed to be in hours, your speed is supposed to be in kilometers per hour. So the first thing is to express this t in terms of s and a constant. You're also given the constant d. Okay, so let's start here. T varies inversely as s. If t varies inversely as s, which is our speed, that is what it means, but we're given to use d as a constant, so which means t is going to be equal to d instead of k, so it's going to be d over s. So that is what we have in this place. We're supposed to have k over s, but they said use d as a constant, so we're going to use d. And take note, this t is a time that is measured in hours, your speed in kilometers per hour. So that means d is in kilometers. So calculate the value of d, which is the constant, when t is 12 minutes. You see, this is 12 minutes, 15 kilometers per hour for the speed. So we have to start by working with this t, because we said our t is supposed to be the time in what? In hours. So let us just take the information that we are given. Our t, we are given this is 12 minutes, but we are given that t is a time in hours. How do you convert minutes to hours? You just have to divide by 60 there. It's now in hours. So the moment you divide by 60, it will be in hours. So you can reduce it, it's fine. Then your s is in 15 kilometers per hour. These units, they're actually fine. So let us find our d. So to find our d, guys, remember we say that we wrote this here. T is equivalent to this here. T is equivalent to this, so which means we can simply, to find d, we can simply cross multiply here. So 1 times d, that is d, s times t, which is st. So you can substitute your s, because you've got these values here. We said our s is 15, so it's going to be 15 times t, which is your time in hours, that is 12 over 60. So you can play around with these values, and your d is going to be in kilometers, just like that. So you can play around 12 into 12, that is 1, 12 into 60, that is actually 5. All right, 5 into 5, that is 1. 5 into 15, which is 3. So this is going to give us 3 kilometers. So take note, guys, of the units that you were given there. They were playing a major role. If you don't apply those units, it means everything was going to be wrong, because they won't correspond to the information as it was given. So you have to use as it was given there. All right, anyways, there are two similar drums that are having a ratio of their diameter. So ratio of their diameters, which is 3:5. So this is your scale factor: ratio of diameters, ratio of heights, ratio of radii, ratio of slant heights, ratio of as long it is all about distance or height, that is your scale factor. Okay, anyways, the question is to write down the ratio of their volumes. So ratio of their volumes, that is your volume factor. Remember, guys, I told you that from scale factor to volume factor, you raise to the exponent of 3. So you raise everything to the exponent of 3, that is your volume factor. So it's 3 to the exponent of 3. You multiply 3 times 3 times 3, guys, 3 times, which is going to give us 27, as to 5 to the exponent of 3, which is 125 in this case. So that's what you're going to have. So this is now your volume factor, which is a ratio that you use to calculate what? To calculate volumes. So this one is used whenever you are calculating volumes. Scale factor, I told you, is used so many ways. Whenever you're calculating anything that has to do with length, height, whatever that you have, that's where you use scale factor, distance, this and that. And we are given that now that the volume of the bigger container is 100 liters, calculate the volume of the smaller drum. We are not going to work with this. This is not volume. This is scale factor for size. We are going to use the volume factor because we are given volume in this case. So from our volume factor that we had, which we said we have got 27 as to 125, we are now given that the bigger container, the bigger drum, has got 100 liters. So the bigger one is the one that corresponds also with the bigger ratio here. So according to ratio, the bigger drum has got a volume of 125 according to ratio, but its volume in actual sense is 100 liters. Remember, liters capacity is volume. So 125 according to ratio is giving us 100 liters. What about the smaller one, which has got a ratio of 27? What is it going to give us in terms of capacity, volume in liters? Back to your proportion, as you can see, it's going to give us lesser or less, so you can play around that, which means if it is less, it's 27 over this times 100. So it's 27 over 125 multiplied by 100 liters. So the moment you do that, you have got your volume. So guys, like I'm saying, that you must use the units that corresponds. If you are given area, you use area factor. Volume, you use volume factor. Okay, so it's now you and your calculator, guys. I mean, you and your mathematical skills, so that you can simplify this. But if you can simplify this, you can divide by 5, which is 5 here, by 5, which is 4. So we can multiply 4 times 7, which is actually 28, and that's a 2 there, 4, and 2, which is going to give us 8 plus 2, which is 108 over 5. So we can actually divide 5 into 10, which is 2 in this case, and we've got 5 into 10, this one, which is 2, and we've got remainder of 2 there. That's what you're having. But before that, we are going to have 5 into 28, or we can just use the 28 as it is. All right, guys, so that is what is going to have, and this is going to be 216, and how many decimal places that you're going to have here? It's going to be 1. So let me just, this is actually 5 here, guys. All right, so this is actually 5, not 4. So this is 108. I'm using it as 4, not 5. This is 5 here, so it's directly 2, 5 here, which is actually 1, and we've got a remainder of 3 there, which is going to be 6, just direct like that. All right, so that's what you're going to have, which is 21,6. So what we have is to work with the volume factor because you are given volume. If you are given size, you just work with the size, but volume, work with the volume factor, just like that. Okay, on number 13, we have got a question where we are given to write the next term that is in the sequence. So just guys cross check what is happening. 81 over 625, 27 over 9 over 25. So as you can see, these are just like 3 and 5 which are being worked around. 3 over 5 squared, which is 9 over 25, 3 to the exponent of 3 to the exponent of 4. So which means here it was 3 over 5 to the exponent of what? 3 over 5 to the exponent of 1, which is simply 3 over 5. So you can just, guys, this one you have to study and see what's happening there, play around questions. So the next term was actually 3 over 5. Then on B, us to simplify the following, but we have to give our answer in standard form. And this is actually division. That is a division. It's not a plus. So we have to divide the 2 there. All right. So we have to divide. This is our B. Where we've got 1 comma 1 1 multiply by 10 to the exponent of 5, and it's being divided to 3 comma 7 times 10 to the exponent of minus 3. That's what I'm going to rewrite it, because I'm dividing, so I'm just going to use over so that it's going to be easier for me, like to divide these numbers separately. Forget about the standard form thing, just divide these numbers separately so that you won't go wrong. 1 comma 1 1 over 3 comma 7. So what am I going to do to divide this? I can actually multiply by 10 or by just 100, so that we can just get rid of all these decimals. So we can just multiply by 100, which is going to be 1 1 1 in this case, and this is going to be 100 plus 1 2, which is going to be 370, something like that. So if we divide, guys, this is 370 into this number, which is going to be 0 comma into 1110. If you are to divide, you are going to obtain 3 times 370 times 3. This is going to give you 1100, so it's 0 0.3. So by just working these two, we are having what? 0 0.3. So just working these two. All right, so you're going to have 0 0.3 multiplied by, here I'm dividing the bases which are the same. So what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract the exponents, which is 10 to the exponent of 5 minus 3. Already there's a negative, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to neglect the negative, because this one is negative of the law that I'm dividing. This is a negative which was already there, so I have to write it, which is 0 0.3 times 10 to the exponent, minus and minus, that's a plus. So 5 plus 3, which is 8. But this number is not in standard form. Why? Because of this 0 0.3, which is less than the range that you're given in between, because the numbers are supposed to be in between these two. So we have to convert this to standard form, and 0 0.3 simply means we move 1 comma to the left, which is 3 times 10 to the exponent of negative 1. So this 0 0.3 here is 3 times 10 to the exponent of negative 1. But there was already an exponent which was there of 10, the base of 10 to the exponent of 8. So you're now back again to say base and base, these two are multiplying each other. So what am I going to do? Definitely I have to add exponents, which is negative 1 plus 8, and negative 1 plus 8 simply means 8 minus 1, which is what? Which is 7. So that's going to give us 3 times 10 to the exponent of 7 in this case. So as you can see, guys, it's all about working out whatever that you're given in a proper manner, and simplification, all that has to be done. Okay, on number 14, we are given to express R in terms of V, pi, and H from the given volume formula that we are given. That is the volume, guys, that we are given, and this one is for a cone, that is a conical cross section, where we are given that a third base area times I, and all that we need here is to express R, that is to make R to be the subject. So get rid of the fraction. This is over 3, so you can just remove this 3 by multiplying by 3 by 3, so this can cancel. So it's going to be 3v is equivalent, this is 1 times 1, just like 1x, it's just same as x. So 1 times this simply means we have got pi r squared h. Yes, we want to make R to be the subject, but as we can see, there is pi, there is h, which are multiplying. So I'm going to divide by these two because they are multiplying. The moment I divide by these two, which means I'm getting rid of this, and I'm going to be left with R squared, which is equivalent to 3v over pi h. And if it is 3v over pi h, that means I can simply introduce the square root to calculate the value of r, and we are not given that this r is going to represent a volume. I mean, it's going to represent the radius and so forth. So according to the question, we're just going to put a plus or minus because of what we are given, but we actually know that this r here is a radius of a certain conical shape that we are talking about. But according to this, it's just like we are not given to say these are centimeters, or they're just taking this as a formula, so you can write your plus or minus on your final answer because you are working on another topic which is different from where you are supposed to apply this. All right, so that's it, guys. But we can just even opt to just leave it because you know that this is a conical shape. Then you can reason with that to say, I know this is a conical shape, so r cannot be a negative. Yeah, you can do that. Still, it's fine. Find r if you're given that pi is 22/7 and you're given all those conditions that you have got. So all we need, guys, is to simply substitute these values that we have. But what can we do with this 29 and the 30, because this is the only number that we have to fix here, so we have to multiply and add. So what are we going to have if we multiply 29 by 3 because we have to find the exact value. So this is going to give us 88 over 3, but 29 by 3, which is actually 87, then we add 1, is going to add, so this one is 87 and it's going to be 88 over 3. So at least it's best for you to work with something that is in an easier way. So this is b, where you've got your r there, which is the square root of, so it's going to be bigger now because you have to substitute inside that square root, guys. Remember your r here that you had, so it's now going to be v, pi and h inside of that square root. So it's going to be these values that we have. Remember your v, so it's going to be 3 times this v, which is 88 over 3. All right, so we said we have got 3v, so it's 3 times v, and our v is this value here that we have made to be 88 over 3, like that. Everything over, take note, we have got pi h in the denominator there. All right, this is actually pi times h, so pi you are given, h you are given, so you have to multiply the two. That is pi, which is 22/7, that is your pi, 22/7 times the h, and our h in this case is 7. This everything under the square root, so that is what is important. So cancel 3 and 3 can cancel, 7 and 7 can cancel, which means r is equal to the square root of 88 over 22. So you can divide, remember, 22 into 88, that is 4. So square root of 4, which is going to give us 2. That's plus or minus 2 there. So like I said, that the r that we are given, we are just working like it's a normal r there, so the plus or minus 2. So that's the concept that you're going to have, or you can just leave it as a 2. Yes, doesn't like affect much. Let's see on number 15 what we are given. There are numbers that there are in information that you're given that on 1 March 2008 a farmer deposited 36,000 into a new bank account. On 30 June 2008 her account balance was 36,600, and calculate the time of investment as a fraction of the year in its simplest form. Okay, so all that we need, guys, we are saying that in between here, this is 1 March to 30 June 2008. So from 1 March, it means we are talking of March being involved. So in this case, these are the months that we are going to have in this case, from 01 March 2008 up to 30 June 2008. So which means we are talking of the whole of March being involved. Okay, that is March. You're talking of the whole of April being involved, the whole of May being involved, the whole of June being involved, because we ended 30 June. So which means that is what we have. These are the months that were used, 4 months. Or you can simply this is just a normal calculation, guys, in between, because this is in between, say, yeah, so you can even calculate to say how many are there. So if we've got 4 months, but as a fraction of a year is going to be 12, so 4 year, which is 3, so it's going to be 1/3. That is a fraction of a year, because in a year we have got 12 months, remember. Then in this case, what is going to be the interest rate percent per annum? So it depends with which formula are you going to use. are you going to use that your normal formula? So this time I'm just going to use your normal formula, where you know that interest is equivalent to PRT over 100, where this is the interest. So the interest now is that, take note what happened here. We have got the money that was now in the bank, which is 36,600, but we deposited $36,000. So that means the principal value is given as $36,000. But after some time, this is the total amount that is being amounted to. It amounted to 36,600. So you can use another formula. Yes, I explained this formula in another video, but I'm just going to use this one that you are used to. So your interest is going to be the difference now between the amount that you have and the amount that you deposited into the bank. So if we subtract 36,600 minus 36,000, as you can see, we are simply remaining with $600. So this is our interest here. So we've got our interest of 600. The principal is there, which is 36,600 times the interest rate. Okay, that is the one that we want to calculate. So you can just leave this as R times the time. Remember, we express the time in years, because this time is supposed to be in years, and our time in years we expressed here as a fraction, where we got a third. So it's just going to be a continuation times 1/3 over 100. So play with your mathematical skills, guys. We can be able to calculate this. I don't know what is best for us to cross multiply or so forth. So anyways, we can cross multiply. That's 6,000 and 600 and 100 is going to be 60000. We've got 4 zeros here, and here we can, because we've actually cross multiply, so here we can cross multiply, but there's a fraction 1/3, so you can get rid of this. 3 into 3, that is 1. 3 into 3, that is 1. Into 6, that is 2. Into 6, that is 2. Into 0, that is 0. Into 0, that is 0. R. So that is what we have in this case, guys. This is it? Sorry, I've shifted. This is a 6,000. 36,000, our principal, guys. 36,000 here. So it's gonna be a 0 here. I hope someone saw this earlier on to say, no, this is our principal, and we have already P 36,000 there. All right, so you're gonna divide by 12,000 by 12,000. By doing this, we are actually obtaining the value of R. So our R is going to be play around with, I've got 3 zeros here, so you can cancel 3 here, 3 here, so 12 here. 12 into 60, you know, this is 5, so it's gonna be 5%. Remember, the 100 was there to remove the percentage, so our answer is going to carry percentage on it, so it is going to be 5%. Or you can use another method. Like I said, I'm going to explain this method in different formats and in different videos. Given an exchange rate of $1 to 707,50 rand, convert $200 to rands. All right, we have got a conversion that is simply on the market for that particular day, that $1 is going to be exchanged or is going to be equivalent to 7.50 rand. What about someone who has to convert $210? How much is he going to have in rands? So it's simply what you're given here. It's going to be more, as we can see. So it's 210 over 1. So these are dollars, and dollars you multiply to 7,5. So when you are calculating, just use 7,5. This 0 after the comma is not important. Remember, we placed that one on our final answer to just say this is money, so let's just put that 0. So when you are calculating, just remove that one. Okay, so just get rid of this. 210 multiplied by 7,5 simply means you're going to multiply 210, you multiply this to 75. Okay, so if you multiply these two, guys, you're going to obtain 1575. Okay, so make sure that you multiply properly. So you've got one decimal place, so our answer is going to be 1750 here. So guys, this is going to be a 0 here, so which means our comma is going to be here, because we've got an extra 0 here. Okay, because there's this 0 here, so it's going to be a 0. So it is going to be 1575,00 if you are to write in terms of zeros, or you can just write this as 1575, just like that. All right, So that's what you're going to have in this case, because remember there was a comma here, guys, so it's going to be that comma there, and that will be 1575. So that is the case, guys. Just have to multiply properly. I think the idea is clear. You've got the idea there. So issue of multiplication and so forth is something else. They were asked to find the mod of the given numbers, that you have got a set of numbers. So all that you need is to express the numbers maybe in order of size. Maybe it can be easier for you to locate the numbers, or you can just leave it like that. But if you have to express this in order of size, because definitely we have to do this, because item 2 there is no way. So you have got 12 in this case. Just list on the numbers that we have got 12, and you've got 14, which is only 114, and you've got 18. How many are they? 1, 2, 3. You've got 18, another 18, and another 18. All right, then we've got 19 and 20. Okay, that's 19 and 20. So as you can see, the mod is the number with the highest frequency, which is in this case is going to be 18. Okay, then on item 2, they asked now to calculate or to determine, to find the median, which is the middle term when numbers are arranged in order of size like this. So you just need to find the middle value. Just correspond this value and this value, this value and this value, this value and this value. As you can see, this is the one that is at the middle here. So this one and this one cancel, this one and this one cancel, this one and this one cancel. This is the one that is going to remain in the middle. So your middle term there is just 8. That is your median, just like that. And we have got, if 2 more marks, that is x and x plus 1, are included in the list, the mean becomes 16. Find x. Okay, if we add 2 more numbers, remember mean is sum of terms over number of terms. Okay, I can just write it here. Remember that mean is equivalent to sum of terms over number of terms. This is sum of terms over number of terms. So if it is sum of terms over number of terms, we are going to add the terms. How many terms are we going to add? Remember, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we've got 7 terms that we have, and we added 2 more terms. So which means our total, which is number of terms, is going to be 9. Okay, so what is the sum of terms? Let's add. You add all these numbers, you add them together. So if you add these numbers, you are going to obtain okay, let's just put this, it's going to be 119 there. Okay, if you add those numbers, you're going to obtain something like this, 119. So like I said, is the mean, which is sum of terms. So you're going to obtain 119 by just adding these numbers plus these 2 that we have, which is x and x plus 1. So we're going to add x and x plus 1, okay, over the number of terms. We are now having 9, because we said we have got 7 here plus these 2 that we have added. So now our numbers, they are now equal to 9. So it's going to be over 9 is equal to the mean. What is the new mean? The mean becomes 16. So you're going to equate to the mean. Sum of terms over number of terms is equal to mean. So by doing this, or by knowing this formula, you are able to formulate an equation in terms of x, where you have to solve, but you can combine these 2, which is going to give us 120 plus x and x, which is simply 1x plus 1x, which is 2x over 9 is equal to 16. So how can I play around this equation? I can just cross multiply. It can be easier. 1 times this, which is going to be 120, plus 2x, which is equivalent to 9 times 16, that's by 4, which is a 54 there, that's 5, and you multiply by 9 plus this, which is 144. So you can actually collect like terms. 120 to the left hand side, to the right hand side, sorry, it's going to be a negative, which is a 144 minus 120 there. So if we subtract 144 minus 120, it's going to be 24. Yeah, that's 24. So you can just divide by 2 and 2, that's your x, which is 1 and 2. So x is going to be 12 there. That is the term that you added. So if you put x there and you calculate the new mean, you're going to see that the mean is going to be 16 according to that particular question that we have. Okay, let's see that what we have in this case on number 17. All right, on number 17 we have got we have got a condition that we have got that is these guys who had to share some sweets, that is John, teacher, and Sharai, that they had to share the sweets in the given ratios that we are given there. So what is happening is that from these ratios that we are given that, okay, let me write it this way. Now it's because I don't want to use this page of the page. Okay, so I'm just going to write it here. So let me put it this way. We have got John in this case, and we have got teacher here, and we have got Sharai. These are the three that we have, but we are given the two ratios of John and teacher. Okay, we have got John and teacher here. They have got their own ratio, which is 1:2. That is for John and teacher, which is 1:2. All right, and we've got teacher and Sharai. That is their ratio. This is teacher and Sharai. They've got their own ratio, which is 3:4. This is what we are given. But the question now wants us to express the shares in the ratio as John as to teacher as to Sharai. That is, we must express this ratio in this format: John as to teacher as to Sharai, combining them together as 3. So how are we going to do that? Okay, what is limiting us in this case to have this ratio are these two. This is this is T and T, which means this is supposed to give us the same value, guys. As we can see, this is T, this is the same person, so this person must have the same value. But let us cross check. Here this person was given 2, here was given 3, so we must write these two numbers in terms of the same number so that we can be able to join these ratios, because this is T, this is T, this is supposed to be the same. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, since these numbers must be the same, how can I make these two numbers to be the same? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is the ratio of what are those names? Is John and teacher. Okay, so those are the names. So this is John as to teacher in this case, all right, which is 1:2. Then this is teacher as to Sharai, which is 3:4. So I want to make these numbers to be the same. So what can I do? I just need to interchange these numbers so that they can be the same. If I multiply this by 3, it becomes 6. If I multiply this by 2, it becomes 6. But what I am doing should be done on both cases. I have to multiply both cases here. So I'm interchanging these numbers, but what I'm doing is supposed to affect both, which means everything. Actually supposed to affect everything. So I choose to multiply by 3 here, which means everything has to be multiplied by 3. Here it has to be multiplied everything by 2. So you interchange these two numbers, you swap. All right, so 3 times 1, which is 3:2, 3 times 2, which is 6. Here we are going to have 2 times 3, which is 6:2, 2 times 4, which is 8. So as we can see, we are now having John as to teacher here, teacher as to Sharai here. As we can see, these two T and T, they are now the same. 6 and 6, they are now the same. So we can join our ratio John as to teacher as to Sharai like that, which is John is what is 3 as to teacher. What is teacher going to have? It's 6. As long these two are the same, you can just write it direct as to Sharai, which is 8. So this is going to be your new ratio now. So the major purpose is to make sure that these two are the same. And how do you do that? You simply interchange. Here multiply by 3, here multiply by 2. The moment I multiply by 3, these two numbers are the same, just like that. So just like what you do on elimination method on those simultaneous equations, when you want to make x to be the same, you interchange the numbers. It's the same case here, guys. So this is your A. In this case, that's our A. Let's move on to the other part now. On B, where we are given that, okay, these guys here that we're talking about, calculate teacher's share if Sharai got 24 sweets. Okay, so this is what I'm just going to do, because now I have got the ratio. Remember, these guys, they've got this ratio 3:6, 3:6, 8, and this is for John, for teacher and for Sharai. So I am given that calculate the value for teachers here, which means I want this one, or who got 6 according to ratio. So the person who got 6 according to ratio, we do not know the number of sweets that this person got, but we know this one, Sharai, who got 24 sweets, and their ratio is 8. So Sharai has got 8 according to the ratio, but according to the number of sweets, she has got 24 sweets. So using this part, I can be able to calculate any, because I'm given, as long you are given one, you can find any of your choice. Remember, I want to calculate the value for teacher. That is why we just focus with 6. This one is for teacher 6, and Sharai has got 24. So how many do we have for this teacher here? Because this is our teacher here. So it's gonna be less. Yes, it's fine, but whatever you want, 6 over what you're given, 8 times 24. So 8 into 8 is 1. 8 into 24, that is actually 3. 8, 16, 24 times 3, which is going to be 18 sweets. So that means in this case, teacher got 18 sweets. That is what you simply have to use in this case. So what is important, guys, is that use the ratios that you are given in a proper manner. That is, the ratio that you are given is supposed to be used in a proper manner. What am I given? How am I going to simplify that one? It is something that is very, very important. All right. Anyways, let's see what we have in this case, the total number of sweets which were shared. So what is going to be the total number? Now the total, you just add the ratio, because you are given one, this one, or you can find the one for John, then you add them, or you can just add this ratio. 3 plus 6, that is 9. 9 plus 8, which is going to give us 17. So according to the ratio, the total ratio of all these 3 guys, it's 17. All right, so 17, which is their total, is the one that we want to calculate the number of sweets which corresponds here. But we only know that this guy Sharai got 24 sweets, and she has got a ratio of 8, and she managed to get 24 sweets. So what about them, all of them now in that 17? So definitely it's going to be more. 17 over 8 multiplied by 24 in this case. So that's what you're going to have. If that be the case, that what you want is the one that you're going to write on top. So it's going to be 17. So as usual, 8 is 1. 8 into 24, which is 3, so you're going to multiply, which is going to be 51. 17 times this, guys, is what? 51. So which means all of them, they to share 51 sweets all together. So that's what we had in this case. So all you just need is to work properly everything, and if we are to cross check, they must give us the same thing from the beginning. I mean, from what you are given, it must actually give you the exact thing wherever that you're going to work out. So I hope, guys, everything was clear. It must be like that. All right. On number 18, we've got points that we are given, which are actually the coordinates that will be on a Cartesian plane, and asked to calculate the vector OA from those points. And remember, guys, I told you that from a point, because these are points which are like respectively to say this is point A, this is point B, this is point C. So to find vector OA, remember, guys, I told you that vector OA is simply the vector, the point A that you see, that you know, that point A, this one, but just as a column vector, because it's from the origin. Any vector from the origin, you just write as it is. So our OA is just 4, 2, just rewriting the same point as a vector, which means if it was OB, I'm just going to take this, or this point B, just write it as a column vector, just like that. Okay. Then here we're asked to calculate minus 2BC, which means minus 2BC, that actually means there's got something that has to do with BC there. There's something that has to do with BC, so I have to find BC first. So how can I find this BC? Okay, we have got the formula. Remember, I told you guys BC, that's OC minus OB. Okay, the last part minus the first part. So OC, just like what we did on OB, OA is just taking the point C, writing it as a column vector, which is minus 3, 2. Okay, minus OB, we already have our OB from that point which you said it's 0 minus 2. Okay, so that's going to be minus 3 minus 0 here, which is minus 3, 2 minus minus 2, corresponding points, minus and minus, that's a plus, which is going to give us 4 in this case. So this is our BC, but the question is minus 2BC is the one that we need. So minus 2BC simply means minus 2 times the vector BC that we just calculated, which is minus 3, 4. So multiply by negative, negative, and negative. That's positive. Negative times positive, that's negative 8, which is 6, negative 8. So that's our minus 2 BC. All right, then on item B, we want to find the modulus of BC. This is the modulus of BC, where I told you guys modulus is simply means the square root of x squared plus y squared in the order that you're given. This is your BC here, guys, not 2BC but BC, and this BC or BC we said minus 3 and 4, so it's the square root of minus 3 squared plus 4 squared, and minus 3 squared, that's going to give us 9 plus 16 square root of 25, and we know this is going to give us 5 units. This is modulus. It's supposed to be a positive value, length of a line, or from our Pythagoras theorem I told you guys that it's supposed to be, the hypotenuse is always positive, so that's what you're going to have in this case. So that is number 18 there. Well, that's what we had. So it's all about playing around with the question, guys. As you can see, that is what is very, very important, playing around with the questions. All right, it's here. Number 19, we are now given to solve for the given equation, that is 3 to the exponent of y. So it's actually those typical questions. It's all about just working with your bases there, just to make sure that the bases are the same. So 3 to the exponent of y, 9 is same as 3 to the exponent of 2, but already there is an exponent of minus 2, so you multiply this, which is going to give us minus 4. So once the bases are the same, all you need is to equate the exponents, which is going to give us a negative 4. So that is the value of y that you are simply obtaining from this part. And on B, we are given the log. Let me just write this down. This is our B, which is the logarithm of 81 in base x, which is equivalent to the logarithm of 16 in base of 2, and you're asked to calculate or to find the value of x. So the case here is that this is actually a log and a log, and these two cannot be equated because like the bases are not the same, so it's going to be difficult for us. But we know that we can simplify this in its simplest form. I don't know which method or what are you going to do to simplify this, but all we need is to obtain an answer on log 16 base 2. And also log we can even use by side to say which number that you use is 2 to the exponent of what, which gives us 16. We know that this is 2 to the exponent of what? To the exponent of 4. So which means log 16 base 2 is 4. Okay, maybe I don't know how to just quickly do this by using my head. I'm just going to use the longer way, where I'm going to let log 16 base 2 be equal to x. That's the number here. Your 16 is equivalent to 2 to the exponent of what? Of x. Then the bases must be the same, so it's 2 to the exponent of 4, which is 2 to the exponent of x. So the bases are the same, x is equal to 4. So as you can see, guys, this log 16 base 2 gives us a 4. So once it's now like this, it's no longer a log. This is no longer a log because we have written this into a numerical equivalent value, which is not a log. So now I can just apply the laws of logarithms to say that, okay, when you said let this be equal to a certain number, that's what you did. And this 81, you equated this to x to the exponent of what? Of 4, just like what you did previously on this stage here. 16 is equal to 2 to the exponent of x, so that's the case. But here, take note, our x, our value that we want, the exponent is to be removed because we want to calculate this x here. So how do I remove this exponent? Simply multiply by the inverse of this number 4, which is 1 over 4, to the exponent of 1 over 4. So this can cancel. So x is equal to 81 to the exponent of 1 over 4. And what does this mean from your laws of exponents or your laws of indices? It simply means the fourth root of 81 to the exponent of 1. And what is that fourth root of 81? Which is 3. The number that is going to multiply itself 4 times to give us 81. That number is 3. Yes, we know that it's supposed to be plus or minus 3, but in this case we are referring to an x which is a base. So this x is going to be a 3. So that is what you're going to have in this case. So we are simply talking of 81. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3, that's 9 times 3, 27. 27 times 3, that's 81. So that is the number which multiplied itself 4 times to give us 81. So that is actually the case, guys, that we had. And on number 20, you are given to evaluate. Giving your answer in base 3 actually there is just to add the numbers. And what is important whenever that you're adding is to note how the given numbers are to be expressed. So it's 2 and 3, and this is just 1 2 2 base 3. So I'm just going to write like this, guys, 1 2 2 base 3, following each other like that. So 2 plus 2, that is 4, and 4 is bigger than the base. Remember, we're supposed to write numbers less than the base, not equal to the base or greater than the base. So when it is a 4 like this, what am I going to do? Divide by the base. That's 1 remainder 1. 3 into 1, 3 into 4, sorry, that's 1 remainder 1. So the remainder is the one that I put on my final answer, the one I have to carry it here. So I have to add again 1 plus 1, that's 2 plus 2, back to 4 again. So I have to repeat this 1 divided by this, which is going to be 1, and I give a 1 there. If I add, I'm repeating the same thing. This is a repetition, guys. This is 4 remainder 1, which is 1 remainder 1. So I'm going to take 1 and give it here. So it's now 1 plus 0, which is 1. Okay, this was like a repetition, going out, going out, going out, going out, going out. Anyways, that's what you had. And on B, we are given that they are a pair of parallel lines that we can see here, the line LM and the line RS, and you're given these in terms of U and so forth. So as you know, guys, from your laws, concept of parallel lines and so forth, then you were asked to calculate the value of U. That's the first thing, to calculate the value of U from this. Okay, what do I know? Actually, these are parallel lines, and I know that these two angles that contain U, this one and this, so these are the possible angles that can actually formulate an equation for us, and these are co-interior angles. And we know that co-interior angles, they add up to 180 degrees. So if co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees, therefore I must formulate an equation on item 1 to say that this co-interior and this co-interior inside the parallel lines, they must give me 180 degrees if I add these two. So it's an equation. Definitely, if you formulate an equation, you have to solve that and obtain the value of x. So this 180 degrees, and it's going to be 2 plus 3, which is 5u, is equivalent to 180 degrees by 5. By 5, that's going to cancel here, which is u is equivalent to 5 into 18, that's into 15, which is 3, and that's going to be a remainder of 3 there, into, okay, then into 30, which is 6. So your u there is going to be 36, which means wherever that you see a u that's at 36 degrees that you are seeing, that's the case. Okay, that's the case. And we move on to the item 2, which is xyx, and where do we have this one? Xys. This is xy. Okay, this one xy s, which is this 3u, that is x to y to s, which is that 3u that you had. So we know that our x, this is xys in this case, is equivalent to 3u in terms of u, but we must find the numerical value because we are not told that leave your answer in terms of u and already obtain the value of u. So you simply need to substitute that u that you obtained. 3u means 3 times u, which is that 36 degrees that we obtained here, the value of u, that is 36 here. So if we multiply properly, that's going to give us 108, because this is 3 times 6, which is 18, 3 times 3, which is 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 1, which is 10. So it's going to give us 108 degrees. So that is the angle that we are seeing here on this PU, is 108 degrees. So this one is going to be the opposite from 180, and we also, this angle and this angle also, they are the same. Okay, all those you must supposed to know them. Okay, anyway, let us move on to this one, PXL. PXL, which is this one, PXL. We know that these are opposite angles, vertically opposite angles, which are made by 2 straight lines, so they are equal. So this angle and this angle, they are equal. So we simply mean that our P That's item 3 in this case. So it means our pxl is going to be 2u, because this we say they're equal, so it's 2u. That's gonna be 2 times u, which you said is 36 degrees. So 2 times 36, guys, this is actually 72. Okay, you just need to know your basic multiplications and so forth, but that's what you had, guys, on this typical question. As you can see, that's how they actually ask these typical questions, and we must be familiar to those questions and so forth. Okay, on number 21, they were given a question where we are asked to use ruler and compasses only. So actually what happens is that I figured out that when you send me these questions, guys, you are sending something that is being scanned, you see. So what is going to happen is that these dimensions, they won't be exact like they are, like this to be BC, which is 6 centimeters. They won't be that exact. Okay, anyways, I'm just going to use as it was, but let me see. But this one is not going to be exact. Okay, maybe for this, see, yeah, it's not exact, because it's like 5,9, but it's not that like much different, no. Okay, so there we are asked to construct from this triangle ABC, in which ABC is 135. So AB to a certain angle C there is going to be 135 degrees. So what am I supposed to do? Okay, this is your AB. So this is your AB, the one that you're just given. So this one does not matter, because like you are not given the measurement. But if you are to cross check on the other ones, like the paper 2, the one that I did, there was actually not the same. Okay, so anyways, so let us just construct, guys. I don't know if it is going to be clear. So you know that as we need 135 degrees, what are we supposed to do to obtain this? 135 degrees is obtained from 45 degrees, like this. We know this. When this is 45 degrees outside of the triangle, out of the shape that you're given, which is the triangle, this is 135 angles on a straight line. But 45 degrees is obtained from 90 degrees, so you have to bisect 90 degrees. So let us just construct 90 degrees. And also the other thing, you can just make a smaller adjustment if it is not that clear here, so that you don't confuse yourself. Just smaller adjustment, okay, so that we can construct. All right, let me just adjust this side. All right, yeah. So this is what I'm going to do, construct 90 degrees, guys. From your construction, I think now you know how to construct 90 degrees. We did all the basics of this. So you just open more than half. Remember, guys, just open more than half of the line after bisecting these two lines. After marking these two lines, just open more than half of the line like this. Then we can construct on top and also below. But here, since there's a point B, there's no need for me to construct on both conditions. But you can just do this for verification's sake, because they are supposed to meet this point, this point, this point, all of these three. And also this line is supposed to be a broken line, because like I'm not considering this. My answer is just going to be taken from this, but I'm not going to consider this like as my actual line. So that is going to be like a broken line. Then we need to bisect, but as we saw that when you bisect this, we need this 45 to be outside of the shape. So we are supposed to bisect this way, not this way. If we do this way, it will be wrong, because we need A, B, C to be 135, like the bigger angle to be inside there. So you bisect this one, the other one. Okay, so let us just bisect here, mark these points. Remember how to bisect, guys. Mark on the line that you have constructed 90 degrees. You mark on those two lines, right? Then you go to those lines without changing the length. Okay, bisect, that is mark an arc inside or in between where you are expecting to have that 45, that is in between the given line, that is somewhere here. And also you go back to that point as it was here at the intersection of the line and the point. Okay, so as you do this, they are going to meet at a certain point. So it's because of the way that I'm sitting, guys, that's why. But okay, something like that. So as you do this, they are going to meet at a certain point. Then you are joining back to the point of intersection, which is the point C. So make sure that your line is a little bit big from that position that you're given, something like this. All right, that's something like this. So that means this angle inside is going to be 135 and the other one is going to be 45, if that is the case, like this. All right, so that's going to be like this. Yeah, this is, as you can see, this is 40, 45, somewhere there. It's not like direct. That is why when you are marking this, you'll be given plus or minus according to, because they know that you won't be produce something that is exact there. All right, anyways, from A to B to C, we say there's an angle of 135. So this is the one that you mark inside. This one that is outside, don't even write about it, just leave it like that. So A, B to C, that is the one that you're given. BC is 6 centimeters, so definitely I have to measure 6 centimeters. Then I just construct. This is construction, everything is supposed to be under construction, so just measure your 6 centimeters somewhere here. Then with this 6 centimeters, I have to mark at B here, then mark along the line that is giving me 135 degrees. So that means that's where my point C is going to be located. So if C is located at this point, that means I am able to join to complete the triangle from A to C. That's now I'm having a completed triangle now. That's what we have. So this is 6 centimeters here. All right. Then we are asked also to calculate to construct the perpendicular from C to meet AB produced at X. Okay, they are saying we have to calculate the perpendicular from C. This is how you construct a perpendicular from a point. This is from a point, a fixed point, to a line. Okay, when they say AB produced to meet at X, this is your AB, so you can produce this line, or to produce the line is to extend the line. That is what it means in simpler version. So you just extend your line like this. Okay, then for you to construct the perpendicular from a point, this is what you're going to do. So guys, take note, this is our C and this is our AB. So I can shift this. Okay, let's rotate our paper 180 degrees. Okay, so we have rotated our paper, which means this is now our C and this is our AB. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. At point C, you're going to step at point C here. Okay, you construct an arc that is going to pass, or that is going to cross the line AB into two equal parts. That is how the arc is supposed to look like. It's supposed to cut this line into two parts at two positions. That is something like this, guys. All right, that's our arc here. So as we can see, we have got our arc. So if I am to do this, it must be able to refer back to this point. Now with this arc, this is what I'm going to do. I have to rotate back to my normal position. So I have rotated back to my normal position. So these are the points on the arc. So without changing this length, without changing that radius that you have, you mark back to the 2 points that are on the line. That remember you extended this line. That is why you see this point is at this point, which is because it's an extended line. But where this point meets the line, at this point you construct back an arc back to C here and another arc down here. Okay, you do the same at this point where these two meet. Okay, you construct an arc back to C and another arc down here. As you can see, that is what you have. So by doing this, if I am to join the point C and the point of intersection of the arcs, I am going to produce a perpendicular line that is to the line that I'm given directly at point C. Okay guys, forgive me for this. Like this, directly from point C to the point of intersection, this line is going to pass this line AB, which was produced to the point X. It is going to pass at this point. That is where we are having the perpendicular from that point. At this point, it is going to be at 90 degrees. So if you are to measure this angle, definitely it is going to give us a direct 90 degrees from the point C to this line. That is what they mean when they say construct a perpendicular from a point to a line. All right, so that's what we had, guys. Then this is now it is okay. It's still clear. Let us just see. We are given that the probability that John passes a driving test is 3 over 4, and that Peter passes is 2 over x. So definitely we've got two things that we are talking about here from the same person that we are referring as John. It has to pass, he has to pass or to fail. Okay, so to pass this driving test is 3 over 4. So definitely to fail, because we've got 4 chances and passed 3, so which means only 1 chance was for fail, that is for John. And Peter also, we have got the same thing here. We have got Peter, we have got the same thing to pass or to fail. So for Peter to pass, it's 2 over x. That is passing, which is 2 over x. And to fail, definitely is going to be 1 over that one. Okay, we shall talk about that one. Okay, so the first question is that if the probability that they both pass the test is 3 over 8, find x. So the probability that they both means we have to multiply the 2 that they have at the same time. That is, both are going to pass, which is the one for John passing and the one for Peter passing. So it's going to be this one, John passing and Peter passing, which is 2 over x. So both means we multiply. So if we multiply 3 over 4 times 2 over x, we obtained a probability of, that is the both that we are given, we obtained a probability of what? Of 3 over 28. That is for both guys, it's going to be 3 over 28. So if that is the case, that was 3 over 28 like this, so I can formulate an equation, and I'm able to use this equation to calculate the value of what? The value of x, like I've done. So 2 and 2 can reduce here, that's 1 here, and that's 2. So you can multiply 3 times 1, which is 3 over 2 times x, which is 2x, is equal to 3 over 28, like that. All right, so remember I want to calculate x, so I can actually cross multiply here to find x. So it's 2 times this. So instead of like yes, I can combine this, but instead of combining, I can just say 3 times 28 is 3 times 28, which is equal to 2x times 3 is 3 times 2x. So that since I want to calculate this x here, I can simply divide by 3 times 2, divide by 3 times 2. Remember guys, your mathematical skills that you're in paper 1 and you want to make things easier, so this can cancel here. So your x is going to be, because the moment you multiply 3 times 8, you're going to obtain a bigger number that you're going to have, but still you can just do that guys. 3 and 3 cancel, 3 into 2, that is 1 into 8, which is 4. So our x is going to be 14. So like I said, yes, you can combine 3 times this, you obtain your answer. 3 times this, which is 6, and you divide, still you are going to obtain the same thing. So that is our x. So which means if we are to put this x back, it is going to be 2 over 14. I'm just saying, if we are to put this back, it is going to be 2 over 14. And the one for failing now, if this is 2 over 14, which means out of 14 chances, 12 chances were for failure. So that is 12 over 14 for Peter. All right, anyways, that's what we had, and just have to leave it like that. Don't reduce, just leave it like that. Let's move on to another part where we are given that calculate, in this case, the probability that Peter fails the test. So now they're asking that calculate the probability that Peter is going to fail the test, and already we calculated here. So for Peter to fail is 12 over 12 over 14. From that case that we said, if this x is 24, is 12 like what we have obtained in 14, then from 2, because we are saying there are 14 in total, but only 2 chances that is here to pass, so you subtract those 2, that's gonna give us 12 over 14. But I can reduce, since I'm asked this one by 2, which is gonna be 6 by 2, which is 7. So this one I can reduce for this one, but when I'm calculating, just use the exact value when you are calculating. Okay, what am I trying to say is that here they are saying we have to calculate the probability that either John or Peter passes the test. So when they say either or, that's a condition that one has to pass there. Either John or Peter has to pass. So it's a conditional or that we have in this case, either John or Peter. It's different from when they say they both. Whenever you're given either or, that is, you have to add. Either or, you add. So what is for John to pass is 3 over 4, or is for Peter to pass the test. Okay, for Peter to pass the test, we say it is 2 over 14, which is definitely 1 over 7. So it's going to be 1 over 7. So we can find LCM, which is 28, which is 20 divided by 4, which is 7 times 3, which is 21, plus 20 divided by 7, which is 4 times 1, which is 4. So if we add this, it's going to be 25 over 28. That is what we are going to have, because we are given that either one. If it is neither nor, which means we are working with when none, or we are talking of one when this one failed and this one failed. That's 1 over 4 plus the other one, that is neither nor, but this one is either or. So you just add the two that you are given. In that case, that was the concept. So we shall see, guys, as we will be moving on, different types of questions that we shall work with. Anyways, there we are given, it's not that much that it is clear here, but that is what we had. In this case, we are given triangle A and triangle A2. So this is our A, even though it's not clear, but I think also you guys there, you have got the question paper. So you also have, I think, definitely you have, because you are the ones, guys, who are sending me these papers. But that is what something like this, even though it's not clear, but you're going to understand what is happening here. This is -2, -4, -6, -8, and so forth. So the first question was from this triangle that we have got here, we want to draw A1, the image of triangle A, under a reflection with the mirror line x is equal to -1. Okay, when you are given a reflection like this and a mirror line of x is equal to whatever that you're given, you draw the mirror line first, which is x is equal to -1. Okay, and according to scale, this was 0 here, -2, so it was in between these points, which is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you must just take this consideration. Do not follow like the diagram that I'm having. At least you must know what is happening. So you're going to draw a mirror line there, guys. This L and R, when they meet now, you be like you want to eat yourself now, you see. All right, anyways, that's what we have here. So this is 0 here, and this is -2, remember, because of the y-axis here. So this is our line of x is equal to -1. Okay, where's this thing? All right, so this is the line of x is equal to -1 here. All right, so when you are working with the reflection, what you're going to do is that each and every point is going to be transformed to this point of x is equal to -1. So which means each and every point, this is a vertical line, so each and every point is going to move the certain distance that you are given to the mirror line. Let us start with this point here at the corner. It's going to move 1. That's according like a 1 according to scale, or just a half box. Okay, then this is a whole box and this half box. So according to scale is 1. These are 2 boxes. This is 2 according to scale. This is 1. So it's going to be 1, 3, 4 according to scale. But according to movement, you can see these are 2 complete boxes. So you're going to have 2 boxes, which is a half box, a complete box. Then you're going to have a half box, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe somewhere here there. So this is where our image is going to be. So you move the distance that you move, guys. This is what I'm saying. The distance, you're supposed to move equal distance from this point here to your mirror line. This is your mirror line here. You move same distance from your mirror line to the image on the next side there. So this is what you're going to do. Even here, as you can see, this distance is going to correspond with this one. So it is going to be in the same line here. This is 1, another box, 1 half, which is half box, a complete box, then half, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, somewhere there, but it's supposed to be in line with this one, guys. Supposed to be in line. Now it's because of the graph that I'm using, but I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Somewhere there. Okay, I'll see that one, but it's somewhere here. And the last one is this point, which is between -6 and -7. So from this point you have to move, that's half here, which is half box. This is a complete box, so you've got 3 boxes. So it's half here, 2 boxes, another half. So you've got half box, 2 boxes, and another half, which is 1, 2, 5, somewhere there, guys. Okay, so this is going to be somewhere here. Then all you need is to join the points properly. All right, you have to join your points properly within those lines that you are given back to that point. Okay, so you guys, I think you understood, so you can do that in a much better way. So this is going to be our A1. It's not that it's not clear, but that is what you are supposed to do. You just move same distance. Take note, this is your y-axis. Someone is wondering, where is my y-axis? The y-axis is this one. It's only that because of the presentation that we have, this is our y-axis here. All right, then this is the line of x is equal to 1. So don't confuse yourself. Our y-axis, our line x is equal to 1. So you move equal distance to the object, to the mirror line, then to the image. Okay, then describe the single transformation which maps A onto A2. So this is your A and this is your A2. So all you need is to join corresponding points. So if you noted that these points here, they corresponded to each other, this point here and this point here, they correspond to each other. Here, this point, and this smaller one, this smaller side and this smaller side, they correspond. Okay, so the smaller side corresponds, the smaller part here, to this, and the bigger side, this one, and the bigger side, which means at the end they must correspond, these two. Okay, so I'm going to join these two here. All right, like this. All right, so these two, I'm going to join them like this. All right, so this is what is going to happen. So as you can see, after joining corresponding points from this point to this point, this point and this point, all these points, they meet at a certain point. Okay, the first thing is that the object that we have and the image that we have in this case, because A2 is our image, this one, this is our A2, this is our image. If you are to cross-check the object and the image that we have, they are isometries, and I talked about these isometries. We are talking of reflection, translation, and rotation, and I hope, guys, you are now used to this. So as you can see, these are isometries. So these are the answers that I'm expecting to have. Okay, I'm expecting to have these three answers in this case, that is translation, reflection, and rotation for isometries. But which one is going to be the exact one? It's rotation. Why? Because these two, they meet, they are intersecting. Remember, translation, we have got parallel lines of what? Equal length. Reflection, we've got parallel lines of unequal length. So these ones are not parallel lines, so it's definitely rotation. But this one, it's a special type of a rotation that we have, where all the points meet at a point like this. It's a special type of rotation that I explained, that where those points meet, that is going to be your center, and that type of rotation is of 180 degrees. It's a special type of rotation when they meet at a certain point. So it is a rotation center where these two meet at -2, 0. That is where these two meet, and our angle is going to be 180 degrees. As we know, 180 is no clockwise or anti-clockwise, it's just 180 degrees. All right, from A to A2, that is what you had. So these are the three major points that you're given: rotation, center of rotation, then the angle. All right, so let's see this part now, which is on 24, where we are given that the diagram shows the region defined by three inequalities. So we've got three inequalities, and of these inequalities, we are given 3y is greater than or equal to 4x. Definitely it's from this line, because this is 3y is equal to 4x. Y is greater than or equal to 0, which is actually this line, because this is the line of y is equal to 0. Remember, the x-axis. So the question is to find the third inequality. So definitely the third inequality, I have to play around with this line. And this line, what is important, it passes through the x-axis at -3, because this is in between -2 and -4, and the y-axis at 0, 2. So I can play around these two to find the equation of the line. Remember the equation of the line, guys, we need the gradient. So I'm going to use the point -3, 0 there, okay, and 0, 2. Remember the point in the y-axis, that's 0, 2, -3, 0. So we have to find the gradient, because remember our equation is y is equal to mx plus c, where I told you that this m represents the gradient, and the gradient, that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's y2 minus y1, that's 2 minus 0 over x2 minus x1, which is 0 minus 3. So that's going to give us 2 over minus and minus, which is a plus. So if it is 2 over 3, therefore my equation is going to be y is equal to 2 over 3x. That is your gradient, plus c, which is the y-intercept. So in this case, an advantage because the y-intercept is there. Our y-intercept is what? Is at 2. So you just need to add 2. So this is our equation. So this equation can be written like this. Y is equal to 2x, 2 over 3x plus 2. You can remove the fraction, which is by 3 here, which is 3y is equal to, multiply here is going to be 2x plus 6. So you can write 3 times 2, which is 6. So you can write your equation like this or like that. It's one and the same thing. Okay. But what is going to be the inequality? Because what we need is the third inequality, not the third equation. Okay, this is where it is shaded. You shaded this side, which is the bigger region. Definitely this side which is not shaded is the one that we need, this one, and this is a lesser region. So according to y, we are talking of a lesser region. So it's going to be less than or equal to y, less than or equal to, because this is a continuous line. So you can write it like this, or 3y is less than or equal to 2x plus 6. All right. Then the coordinates of M, where the two lines intersect, shown on the diagram, the coordinates of M. So M is this point that is shown. So it's in between 3x here is 3 and y is 4. So this point M is 3, 4. All right. Then by considering the integral values of x, calculate the least value of x plus y. So guys, x plus y, you have to work around with your question and see which one is going to give you the least possible value. So in this case, I consider this point here, minus 3, 0 here. If we are to take that point minus 3, 0, x is minus 3, y is 0. So if we add minus 3 plus 0 here, we're going to obtain minus 3. I don't know if there is any other point in between this region that is going to give you any value that is the smallest than the one that I got in between that region. You just take a point, then you add the values just like what I did here. So I don't know, just cross-check, but this is the list that I have got, and that I have cross-checked every part there and obtained. So I don't know if you can see any other, guys. It's welcome. You're welcome for that, to talk about that. All right, we are given the velocity time graph there that you are given, which is a deceleration from 40 there, as we can see, and from there 25 up to the last part here, which is in 20 seconds. Then a further deceleration, which is 2.5 meters per square second. So this, it further decelerates, which means here there is an acceleration of negative 2.5 meters per square second. A deceleration is a negative acceleration. Okay, and given that the total time for the journey is t seconds, which is t here, that is the total time is t. Calculate the deceleration of the particle during the first 20 seconds. So the first 20 seconds is this one, during this period. And as we know, guys, there is a deceleration, but we say deceleration is equal to negative acceleration. So all you need is to find the acceleration, which is the change in velocity over the change in time. So what is our change in velocity? Our velocity, we started at 40 and we are now at 25, so it's v2 minus v1. So that's 25 minus 40, 25 minus 40 over the change in time, which is 20 seconds. 20 minus 0, which is 20 seconds. So 25 minus 40, it will be minus 15 over 2. So I'm just gonna be fast, guys. As you can see, people now, they are waking up, guys, which is minus 3 over 4 meters per square second. All right, so that's what we are going to have. But this is like the deceleration that we are given, because during this period, actually our acceleration is a negative. So the deceleration now is going to be 3 over 4 meters per square second, or you can write it as a decimal, 0.75 meters per square second. All right, so that's how it's going to look like. Acceleration, then deceleration, we said it's negative acceleration, which means you multiply your answer by a negative to write it as a deceleration. Okay, so that's it. Then the value of t, so we are going to use the same concept, but now we are going to calculate t because we are given that here there's a deceleration of what, of 2 meters per square second, and I said it means your acceleration was -2, but you see when they write it as deceleration they don't put a negative. Okay, so you're going to calculate as what you just did on acceleration, just change in velocity over change in time, because we've got this acceleration of -2,5. So we're going to use as -2,5, not as 2,5. Okay, so -2,5, that's the change in velocity, which is going to be at rest. We are now at rest, which is 0 minus 25. As you can see, from this point to this point, it's 0 minus 25. So that's 0 minus 25 over the change in time, that is going to be t minus 20, or you can just calculate it as a change in time, or you can write it as t minus 20. I don't know what is going to be best for you, or you can just put it this way as change in time. So you can have the value of change in time, cross multiply here, -2,5 times the change in time is going to give us 0 minus 25, which is -25, divided by -2,5 by -2,5. So I can have the change in time. Okay, so it's gonna be times 10 over 10, so which is 250. To remove this decimal place, 250 over 25, and this will be a 10 here. So the change in time is 10, which means in between here we've got 10. So what is our t? Therefore our t is 20 plus 10, because there was a change of 10 seconds, so it is going to be 30. Okay, let's say you didn't want to have this involvement of working with change of time, then you later on change the answer. We are going to write this as t minus 20. Okay, so this was going to be -2,5 is 0 minus 25 over t minus 20, like this. The moment you use this one, therefore here you are going to obtain your direct answer now. Okay, here you obtain the direct answer. Remember, -2,5 is same as -5 over 2, which is equal to 0 minus 25. That is -25 over t minus 20. So you can cross multiply, -5 times t minus 5t minus 5 times -20, which is going to give us positive 100. 2 times -25, which is -50. So you can collect like terms, guys. -5t is equivalent to 100 to that side is going to be -100, which is going to be -150. Divide by -5 by -5. So our t is going to be equivalent to 30, because we've got 150 over 15 over 5 there, which is going to be 30. So that is the exact value of t, which is 30. We are given the exact value, that is the one that you're obtaining. So there are no adjustments like here where we calculated the change in time, then we later on made adjustments now to find the value of t, where you have to add that change in time to the time of 20 to obtain that. So as you can see, guys, it's a matter of the question that you'll be given, and very careful how you attempt the questions. Anyways, let's see the other part where we are given now to calculate now the total distance covered in t seconds. Okay, so as you know, that is 30. So we're going to calculate the total distance. It depends with the shape. You're going to use a triangle and a trapezium, or a triangle, a rectangle, and a triangle, whatever that you're going to use in this case. So as for me, I'm going to use this trapezium here. I'm going to use this as my trapezium, this whole trapezium like this. Then I add the remaining triangle. Since I know that area of a trapezium, and remember distance is equal to area, and area of a trapezium is half sum of parallel sides times the perpendicular height plus a triangle, which is half base times the perpendicular height. So that's it, guys. Half sum of the sides which are parallel, A and B. These are the sides which are parallel, which is from this point to this point, that is 40, plus from this point to this point, which is 25. So this is 25 times the height from this point to this point, that is your perpendicular height here, which is 20. Okay, that's for the trapezium, plus half s times height That is the base. Remember here we said is 30, so you can 30 minus 20, which is 10, so it's half of 10 times the height of the triangle. According to this triangle, this is the height, and this side corresponds with 25. So that's it. You have to combine your values and so forth. So this is going to give us 65 here, and half of 10, half of 20 is 10, then 10 times 65, that's 650, plus half of 10, which is 5, and 5 times 25, which is 125, because we know into 100 it's 4, so 125 is going to be 5 times. So if we add, we are going to have 5 here, 0 plus 5, that's 5, 2 plus 5, which is 7, 1 plus 6, which is 7, and this is our distance in meters, which is going to be 775 meters. All right, so that's what you had. And on D, that is the average speed for the whole journey. Average speed, that is distance over the time that was traveled. That's what you're going to have, guys. Speed, which is the distance over the time, and our distance is the one that we just calculated, 3775 here, and that's 775 over 30. So that's 775 over 30. Okay, guys, as you can see, if you do proper your division there, you're going to obtain 25,8333, something like that, in meters per second. This is speed measured in meters per second, or you can reduce this, which is going to give us 155 over 6, and 6 into 15, which is going to be 612, which is 2 into 12 there. Then you're going to have a remainder of 3 into 30, which is actually 5 into 30, and we're going to have a remainder of 5 into 30 there. It's going to have a remainder of 5 again. So instead of writing decimal like this, we can just write it as 5 over 6. So you can write it as 5 over 6. Still, it's fine, meters per second. Or you can write now as a decimal 25,83333, and so on. So that's how these questions, guys, were presented in this paper that we had. So I don't know how do you view this, and how do you actually consider from this? So but that's what we had, guys, from this question paper. So all we need, guys, is to make sure that we share our videos to our friends and colleagues, so that they also can benefit from this information. Please do so. Share these videos to your friends, your colleagues, share to your WhatsApp platforms, social media platforms there, so that someone can have a benefit from what you're having. That's what is best, I think, for us. Now till we meet again.